What's up? What's up? We're back with another react, man. The NFL is getting weird as hell, guys. Chris Wilkins, just a little brief summary before we get into the details of it. We got a defensive tackle, Chris Wilkins, coming out of Clemson. Played for the Raiders. He played for the Dolphins, I think. He just was playing for the Raiders. We have a man getting fired for zestiness. Not only just zestiness, he was so zesty, he got released from the team yesterday. So, with that being said, we're going to see why. One thing I'll tell you, the signs were there. This nigga been doing shit. The signs were at Clemson. Nigga did a full-fledged split. Nigga won the national championship instead of pouring champagne, chilling with your bros. Hey, I think the Nene was popping back then when they won. I don't know. Some dance was better than him. He didn't only do the splits, bro. And I hope they show it in this video. This man grabbed his foot and then dropped down. So, the signs were there. But we're going to see exactly the story about Chris Wilkins and what's going on with him, though.
Play you for those ultras?
Well, we're kind of...
At the end of this video, you're going to be asking the same question.
All right.
What the hell happened with Wilkins in Las Vegas?
They say that Christian playfully went to kiss a teammate on top of his head, and that player took offense to it.
Christian Wilkins, my man. I heard you're the kind of brother who kisses other dudes during team meetings. What in the Michael Sam is wrong with you? The Raiders were looking for an excuse to get rid of your stupid after you refused that foot surgery. And now you gave them the best damn excuse in the world.
Picture this. You just signed a $110 million contract. You're set for life. And then you lose all of it because of a kiss. I'm not talking about kissing the wrong person's girlfriend or getting caught in some scandal. No, this is way weirder than that. But before we get to that bizarre moment that cost Christian Wilkins $35 million, we need to understand how everything started falling apart. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to be asking the same question everyone in the end.
That is a crazy meme, bro. I would be disappointed to be a part of a meme like this. They got that nigga on some.
NFL is asking, was this really about a foot injury? Or was there something darker going on behind the scenes? Now, before we get to the...
And one thing I'll say, though, it's one thing being zesty, whatever, man. That's your thing. But when you're forcing it on straight men, boy, we got a problem. Not only do we have a problem with you just forcing on straight men, nigga, you're a defensive tackle. Nigga, you're big as shit, bro. So, like, in reality, think about if he tried to kiss a running back. If he held a running back down, could the running back really get up through to avoid the kiss? It's questions we asking, man. Sassy big nigga is very intimidating.
Content, we're giving away copies of College Football 26. Also going to be giving announced tour pulled off what they thought was the heist of free agency. They signed Christian Wilkins to a 4-year, $110 million contract with $82.75 million guaranteed. This made him the second highest paid defensive tackle in NFL history, behind only Chris Jones. The Raiders were so hyped that they literally tweeted, "Say it with your chest," to announce their prized acquisition. And honestly, it made sense. Christian Wilkins was coming off of a career year in Miami with 9 sacks and 58 pressures. This dude was a legitimate game changer. At $27.5 million per year, he was getting paid like the elite player that he'd become. But here's where things get interesting, and this is important for what happens later. Christian Wilkins had a reputation, and
shit like that, bro. Did this man ask for that kiss? And gripping the top of his head is actually, it's actually a sad thing to see.
and I guess looking back, if you take a look at
this is the clip, bro. Look, I wasn't capping, bro. I was hoping they played it. Look what he did, bro. Mean to tell you, they just won the national championship. This is what he decided to do when the camera got on him.
Later, Christian Wilkins had a reputation, and
right
I guess
here,
looking back, if you take a look at some of these videos, the reputation's kind of...
That's what he decided to do when the camera got on him.
interesting. Now, typically, I wouldn't put any stock into content
Freaky
this.
freaky ass nigga, he a 69 god. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 god. Hey, that, oh man.
Quite comically.
Then the bounce. Oh my god, the bounce. The bounce, man. The bounce just made it just wow.
Actually, this particular
Look at this play. This nigga used to
video, I mean,
look
like that.
Look at that, bro.
Combined with the
Putting your hand in an ass for no reason. The play was done. The tackle was done. The play was over. The yardage was counted. The fucking whistles blew. You decided to walk up. Not even hide it. L lineman, you seeing this? Whoop his ass. He just put his finger in your running back's ass. So, L lineman, you was supposed to clobber him, bro. If I'm a running back, y'all need to fight for me, bro. I'm getting held down by one nigga in the... We just saw... I ain't gonna lie. We fuck around it. We just saw sexual assault. Okay. This is a crazy clip, bro.
Freakiness allegations is definitely interesting. And this carried all the way.
All the signs were there. Did it to Josh Allen, too. This is something he does. He loves to see fumbles. Who? Nigga like this, you fumbling, right? You running down the field. You don't even fumble. You get tackled. You get tackled forward. You fall on your stomach. Here comes Chris Wilkins. The time he's been waiting for. He lowers down and puts his hand right on your ass. What the fuck do you do, bro? What do you do, bro? This man needs to be stopped, bro. He did it to Josh Allen too, bro.
To the NFL as well. So
look at him, bro. Where was his hand at?
Well, I don't really know.
And Josh Allen got mad as shit.
If you
Look
can
at him.
call the
Look, where was his hand at, bro? His hand was underneath, bro. It was in the front this time, bro.
these
Crazy,
instances
bro.
coincidences or anything like that,
Freaky
but I
ass big
definitely
boy.
had to bring this up. So former NFL player John Feliciano
Brother always
tweeted
been
that
freaky,
Wilkins had
see?
always been a little freaky.
Look
Now,
at
the
him.
time, most people just brushed that off as just NFL players.
We watching the
talking
P. Diddy
trash,
of the
but keep that in
NFL,
the
bro.
back of
This
your
shit
mind because
crazy.
it's going to become very relevant. The season started great. Through 5 games, Wilkins was living up to his massive contract. He had 17 tackles, 2 sacks, and 6 QB hits while playing 77.7% of his defensive snaps. His PFF run defense grade was 80.2, which ranked him 3rd among all interior defenders. Everything was looking perfect in Las Vegas. And then came October 6th, 2024 in Denver, and this is where his story really begins. During the second quarter against the Denver Broncos, Christian Wilkins suffered a Jones fracture in his left foot. Now, for those of you who don't know, a Jones fracture is no joke. It's a break at the base of the 5th metatarsal, and it's the same injury that ended careers or severely limited guys like Kevin Durant and Julio Jones. So Wilkins had surgery on October 8th with a typical recovery time of 3 to 4 months. In the NFL, that usually means you're back for the next season, no problem. But here's where things started to get weird. Fast forward to May of 2025, which is 7 months after the surgery, and Wilkins shows up to Kyle Van Noy's charity golf event. And guess what? He's still wearing a walking boot for 7 months. For context, most players are back on the field in 4 months max. But wait, it gets weirder. The Raiders wanted Wilkins to have a second surgery, and this is where the real drama started because Christian Wilkins said no. He wanted to try alternative rehabilitation methods instead of going under the knife again. And this is where everything started falling apart. By June 4th, 2025, the Raiders made their move. They voided $35.2 million in remaining guarantees, citing Wilkins' failure to maintain his physical condition to play. Think about that for a second. They basically said, since you won't get the surgery we want, you don't get your money. Now, most people thought this was just a contract dispute.
Sitting on an injury,
A player
collecting
wants
all the
control
glue.
over his body, and a team wants their investment protected, which is pretty standard NFL stuff, right? Well, nobody knew at the time, but there was something else going on. Something that would make this whole story absolutely insane. Now, here's where the story goes completely off the rails. About a week ago, the Raiders released Christian Wilkins with a terminated vested veteran designation. Most people thought it was just about the medical stuff, the foot, the surgery, the contract dispute. Makes sense, right? A team invests $110 million, player won't follow medical advice, team cuts ties, that's the end of the story. But then on July 28th, Adam Schefter went on the Pat McAfee show, and the story just got absolutely insane.
What the hell happened with Wilkins in Las Vegas?
They say that Christian playfully went to kiss a teammate on top of his head, and that player took offense to it.
Let me say that again.
I think the media just made that sound nice. Playfully, the nigga ain't get suspended. That nigga did it aggressively. I don't give a shit. Look at him. Why is he always kissing niggas?
Christian Wilkins allegedly
He
tried
loves doing it. That's his, like, niche, is kissing men. Nigga can't just put his hand around him. Yeah, man, give him a little noogie. Yeah, this my boy. No, he rather crazy work.
to kiss a teammate on the head in a team meeting room.
Look at
And
him.
that teammate
He loved poking them lips out. Freaky ass boy.
was so uncomfortable that he filed an HR complaint. Pat McAfee's reaction
Oh
was
my
priceless, and
God.
honestly, it's probably what everyone was thinking. If that goes down in the locker room and your team goes and reports it to HR, that means the locker room probably didn't like Christian Wilkins. But here's the thing that's going to blow your mind. This wasn't Wilkins' first time doing something like this. Remember when I told you to keep his reputation in mind? Well, buckle up. This is where the story gets really dark, because it
gosh.
turns out that Christian
Look at him.
Wilkins
Here we
had
go
a
again.
history of inappropriate physical
See?
contact that goes back years. So check this out. During the 2016 Fiesta Bowl at Clemson, Christian Wilkins grabbed Ohio State's Curtis Samuel in
What
an
the
inappropriate area
fuck?
on camera during a nationally televised game. His teammate Ben Boulware defended it just as messing with players and something the team had done all year.
Did you look at that clip before you said it's something your team's been doing all year? Y'all been doing that all year? I get defending your boy, but hey, it's only a certain amount of defending you do before you look weird too. But he looked weird defending him, especially saying he's just messing with players, something we've been doing all year. You've been sexually assaulting every team every year, all year. Is what you're telling me?
Even Coach Dabo Swinney called Wilkins goofy while acknowledging that he
Goofy? How about freaky? How about Diddy? How about sassy? I don't think goofy was the right word.
crossed a line. But it didn't stop there. In 2022, while playing for Miami, Wilkins was fined $13,000 for a similar incident with Josh Allen. And here's the kicker. Josh Allen specifically said he's been known for that going back to college. Think about that. Josh Allen, who's as tough as they come, specifically called out Christian Wilkins for having a pattern of this behavior.
telling you, bro,
This
he
wasn't
the
just
P. Diddy
boys
of the
being
league,
boys.
bro.
This was a known issue around the league.
Yeah,
Now, the
this is-
identity of the teammate who filed the HR complaint is still unknown, though Mike Florio cryptically noted that it was a name that has been making the rounds without revealing it. But here's what we do know, and this is huge.
Wow.
According to Josina Anderson, some league sources believe an incident involving a teammate may have factored in part into the Raiders' fatigue and release. The fact that she used such careful language suggests that there might be even more to the story than what's
There
been
is.
reported.
I
But here's
know
what
it's
really
more,
tells the
bro.
story. The silence from
He didn't
Raiders
just
players. I mean,
playfully
Max
kiss
Crosby,
him.
who's
It
usually
was
all
more,
over social
bro.
media supporting his teammates, hasn't said a word. No Raiders players have publicly
See?
defended Wilkins or
That's how you
disputed
know
any of
he
the
did some
reports.
weird
Compare
shit,
that
bro.
to when other Raiders faced legal troubles. There was always somebody in their corner. But with Wilkins, it's been crickets so far.
A lot of controversy around the defensive line group after the release of Christian Wilkins. How have you seen your unit be able to leave that as just outside noise and hone in on your craft?
Yeah, we pretty much just kind of moved on from the situation. You know, I really don't want to comment further on it, but I will say that, you know, whatever you're going through as a person, athlete, non-athlete, whoever, whatever your struggle is, if you got something going on in life, just, you know, talk to somebody. Get some therapy. You know, whatever your deal is your deal.
Yeah.
Somebody out there in this world full of
They got a
millions of people
hormone
is gonna
problem,
listen.
man.
they're willing to listen, hear you out, and help
He
you.
said
work
you need to
through
go
whatever
to
you
a
need
sex
work
doctor.
through.
That's what
But
I'm translating here.
don't make any hasty decisions. Get help.
Now let's talk about their head coach's response, Pete
Yeah,
Carroll,
Russian
because
says
this
so.
tells us everything about what really happened. Carroll said they took a long time to make our decision and watched our way through the whole thing. Think about that phrasing, watched our way through the whole thing. That doesn't sound like a medical decision. That sounds like they were monitoring a situation and waiting to see how it
Watching
played
it.
out.
They had this nigga
wasn't
under
just about one
surveillance,
player.
man.
This was about establishing a new culture. The Raiders under Mark Davis have shown zero tolerance for serious misconduct. And I know we've been making fun of the Raiders for quite some time, but you have to give them credit where credit's due. They immediately released Henry Ruggs after his fatal DUI, and
That
they
was
cut Damon
crazy.
Arnett after he did this.
I will real deal kill you, my. I will real deal kill you, my.
But Wilkins' situation
How the fuck did he do that? Who the hell was he talking to? What?
was different. There were no criminal
that's some big
charges, no
shit.
arrests, just a medical dispute and an HR complaint about unwanted physical contact. The fact that they still pulled the trigger tells us everything about how serious they considered
had
this
to be
incident.
serious,
and I honestly
bro.
have to give them credit for doing that. Let's talk numbers because they're absolutely insane. Christian Wilkins received his $24 million signing bonus and $5 million base salary for 2024, totaling $29 million for just 5 games. That's $5.8 million per game played. This easily ranks as one of the worst value contracts in NFL history.
And they
According
still
to
gotta
Over
pay
the
him
Cap,
out, I'm
if
pretty
the Raiders
sure.
win the grievance that the NFLPA filed, they'll save $35.2
Oh.
million and clear significant
Never mind, they
cap
saving
space
money.
for 2025
Oh,
to
yeah, that boy
26.
good as
But if they
gone.
lose, they'll carry $17.925 million
That is good
in
as
dead
gone.
cap for 2025.
Got rid of a
and
freak
the
and saved
franchise
$35
record
million?
$55 million for 2026. But here's the crazy part. Christian Wilkins was so out of pocket that the Raiders were willing to take that financial hit rather than keep Wilkins on the roster. Think about that for a
Crazy
second.
work.
They rather pay $35 million for a player not to
Crazy
be on the
work.
team than deal with whatever was happening behind the scenes. But here's where things get even weirder. Mike Florio pushed back on Adam Schefter's version of the events, claiming that Schefter's story is definitely not the story that's been making the rounds. So we have competing
Whoa,
narratives
so
from
it's a
two of the
different
most
story
plugged-in NFL reporters. Shefty says it was a playful kiss on the head that made a teammate uncomfortable, but Florio suggests there's a different, potentially worse story circulating privately.
I know
So
it
that
gotta
means the
be
full
worse.
story hasn't even
I
come
know
out
it
yet,
has
or
to
there
be
are
worse.
people actively trying to control this narrative, which makes sense because Christian Wilkins is a free agent. And if this story goes from, oh, it was just a little innocent kiss on the forehead,
I
to
know it
something
has to
worse,
be more
then
than
his
playful,
career
bro. I'm
could
telling
be
you, bro.
over.
I've been said it. It had to be, bro. And he just got a great team that's suppressing it. Let's see how long this story gets suppressed. But it has to be more, bro. This nigga did something bad, bro. I just got a feeling.
To understand how big this is, you gotta compare it to
real.
other NFL controversies. The last time we got a crazy controversy like this was when the story broke out about Richie Incognito bullying Jonathan Martin, and the punishment for this was way more severe. It was sustained harassment over months, but Incognito only got an 8-game
always them
suspension,
Dolphin
not a
players.
release. The difference is the amount of money that was owed. Christian Wilkins was
He
owed
used to play for a
$35
Dolphin.
million guaranteed, and the fact that the Raiders were willing to eat that money tells us that this wasn't just about workplace comfort. This was
bad,
something
bro.
that threatened the
was a
entire team
problem.
culture. And as this story continues to develop,
That
there are
boy done
still
did some
so many
weird
unanswered
shit.
questions. Who was the teammate that filed the complaint? What exactly happened in that meeting room? Was this really just a playful kiss on the head or something more serious? At the end of the day, I think this is a combination of factors. I think it's the fact that Christian Wilkins didn't want to take the medical advice that was given to him, the fact that he was getting paid a significant amount of money, and then you have this
A lot
HR
of things
complaint
came
on
into
top of
play.
Everything. This was a good
he
way
did
for
some
the
crazy
Raiders to
shit, I
get
know it,
out of a
bro.
contract that they don't want to be involved in anymore. I mean, $35 million of cap space is a significant amount of change. So if they could get out of this contract for a player that barely played last year, who sustained a football injury that could without a doubt end his career or at least neutralize how effective he was being, they'd be foolish not to take the opportunity. And to be honest, I don't blame the Raiders for doing this, but Christian Wilkins' behavior is absolutely insane. I I mean, if you are in the situation that you're in and you're getting paid a significant amount of money to barely play football, you better be on your best behavior, because teams will try their best to get out of bad contracts. Usually they'd fail. I mean, we saw the Browns try to get out of Deshaun Watson's contract for re-tearing his Achilles tendon when he was doing something that wasn't football related. And honestly, it's going to be very interesting to see how the NFL handles the situation. But at the end of the day, this is without a doubt the most expensive kiss in sports history. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this. Aside from that, I don't know if you guys heard, but the Tennessee Titans just admitted failure. They released Treylon Burks, which makes the AJ Brown trade one of the worst trades in NFL history. We have a completely separate video. I'm going to leave it in the end screen.
Well, that was good to know. Christian Wilkins. Story's gonna come out eventually, buddy. Story gonna come out eventually. Christian Diddy.
I'm going dollar for dollar. 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 I'm going dollar.
If y'all not watching my daddy, what are y'all doing?